Hello, this is Brian Purdy with the Florida Aviation Network, live and in the clear from Sentinel Aerospace Expo 2025. Today here at the Innovation Showcase, we're visiting with Grant Hoover of Aileronics, and we're going to be talking about their product Sentinel. We did talk about that last year at Sentinel, but we're going to see the growth that they've gone through. So, good morning, Grant. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Brian. I'm doing great. It's great to be here at Sun and Fun, and looking forward to telling everyone about the progress that we've made and what we're doing here.
Okay, great. We'll just start in. We'll do a quick refresh for somebody that didn't see this before. Tell us what the basic premise of your product is.
Sure. So Sentinel, we're calling it a visual traffic collision avoidance system, so a visual TCAS system. It is a camera system that you mount inside of your airplane or helicopter, and it has a camera that faces outward and scans the forward outside environment looking for traffic like birds, airplanes, drones, and then it delivers that traffic detection information to your iOS iPad device.
And the current production model is going to be permanently mounted, if I believe, and so it can go with you to any aircraft you decide to take it with.
Right, exactly, and that's one of our key features, not only the low cost of our product, but also the portability, so any training students or anyone with multiple aircraft can take it and put it in whatever aircraft they're flying easily at any point.
So we have the cameras to identify or to see the different potential obstacles. So where does it go from those images to the pilot?
Sure. So when the camera sees it, we have a custom AI algorithm that we use to detect those pieces of traffic, and then that is outputted to either a custom iOS Aviation app that we have that has a TCAS-like display to show the traffic fixes, but also we show the image of the actual traffic that we see to help you visually identify it. And additionally, we can send that information over a standard ADS-B data feed to 04Flight, Garmin Pilot, the normal EFB apps, so you can see it on your moving map display instead if you're used to that.
Okay. On your special app, you'd be able to bring up the image. Would anybody else, or is there a downloaded portion that they could have on their tablet or whatever they have 04Flight on to bring up those same images?
So right now, the images can only be shown on our custom app. So if you're in 04Flight, Garmin Pilot, any of your EFB apps, they'll just show the normal cyan triangle traffic fix, but we're hoping in the future to make that so everything's all in one place and they can show the images as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If it's a separate app that they could load, it'll tie in and better. Okay,
right.
Great. Okay, so this is your second year here at Sun and Fun. I've seen you both also up at Oshkosh. What are the plans upcoming to show off the equipment?
Sure. Yeah, so we're here today showing off the progress since Sun and Fun last year, since Oshkosh last year, and upcoming we have a production unit that we are planning to ship in Q3 of this year. So that includes a much smaller form factor and a much more refined product that pilots can use in the airplane in a larger quantity and start getting some real, good user volume of pilots using this product and helping make the skies safer.
I may have asked this last year. Are there going to be like some beta testers that, we'll put it to its paces?
Sure, yeah, so we've done internal testing. I've been flying at my own Piper Aztec, each of the prototype units here, getting some good flight testing time, and then we're also working with outside partners as well to get additional testing time outside of our company to validate the unit, to give additional feedback, see additional environmental conditions to make sure that our unit is working properly.
Okay, great. Now, we're in the Innovation Showcase. Have you found people say, hey, we could be compatible or be an additive to our product with theirs?
Sure, great question. I mean, here at the Innovation Showcase, Future and Flight Plaza at Sun and Fun, there's a lot of great companies out here, and it's air conditioned. So in that great air conditioned environment, one company we've met is CoSense AR. So they have an AR glasses headset unit that you can wear in the airplane when you're flying, and it helps visually identify right in front of your face rather than like on your iPad or your flight deck, flight plan information, flight plan fixes, traffic. And so we've talked with them, and I think there's a great synergy that could happen here to be able to show our detections on their headset.
I think that's one of the most benefits of the Innovation Showcase, because there are so many things. We're working on a project, we're so focused on it, we don't see what's going around otherwise. Exactly. So that's my plug for Innovation Showcase.
So here we are looking at our developmental progress of our units over the past year and a half, 2 years or so. So starting off in 2023, we started really testing different ideas out, looking at motorization of our camera system and just testing out different core features of where we needed to go. So moving forward from that, in January 2024, last year, we have our initial alpha unit. This combines everything that we were testing out and prototyping into a single unit. You can see it's large but functional, and so that got us an initial testing platform to start getting some data to work off of. And moving over from there, where we were at last year at Sun and Fun was our beta unit. So this is what we showed and talked about last year, Brian. This includes really a miniaturization of everything that you see in the initial unit, getting it smaller, getting it more compact, but still a lot of the feedback that we got, which we knew was too large and needed to be shrunken down and refined further. So going to Oshkosh of 2024, we have what we're calling our test unit. It's a little disassembled just because some of these pieces were used in future units, but you can see the form factor of what we're looking at. It's really combining everything and the separate pieces from the previous units into one core piece that you can put on your windshield. Still large, but more refined.
It also looks like more of a dust cover available. It's like, okay, not just exposed wires and
right, so you would see just the plastic housing from the pilot side, and this is what would look out the windshield. So moving on from here, we have this is the form factor of our current unit showing at Sun and Fun. So obviously the hardware isn't in here. We can take a look at that in a minute, but you can see it's getting much smaller, getting much more refined, and continued progress. And really just a show of where we're going in Q3 of this year, a little bit after Oshkosh, is the form factor that we're looking at for our production unit when that goes live and we fulfill our pre-orders. So really taking the core concept of our current unit and getting it much smaller down to more like the size of a magnetic compass, maybe a GoPro or two, much smaller and much more easily digestible for pilots to put in the windscreen.
So I'm guessing a majority of this being able to make it smaller is because you're putting more and more on a chip rather than having the wires between chips.
Exactly. So a lot of the developmental progress is just refining what hardware we're using and able to get smaller hardware, but also just the electronics of it, being able to do custom PCB design, being able to do custom wiring, and just more refinement in terms of how we design it and where the placement of all the pieces are.
Okay, great. And you've got a display over here, so let's go ahead and see it in action.
Sure thing. Yeah, so over here we have our live demo that we're showing what will actually look like. The TV is showing an example, visualization of what a pilot would see when flying. We have Compton like a bird, an airplane, a drone, and we have the unit over here if you want to kind of take a look up front. So this unit is on a gimbal, everything's working here, and then the camera is sweeping left and right, getting a wide field of view across multiple images to get a high detailed, high field of view image. And from there, it's taking that, it's using our AI chip in the back and performing the AI detections and then feeding that into our iOS app down here.
Now, I'm looking at the camera moving back and forth. Sometimes it looks like it was making a slower sweep, but smoother, and right now it's like that right now. And then it goes back to more of a jittery type thing. Is it like, okay, different positions rather than just trying to catch it on the go?
Yeah, so I mean what you're seeing, especially in the jittery motion, is there are about 11 images being taken on each sweep there. So even though it looks more somewhat smooth, it's stopping multiple times throughout that entire sweep to take an image. So yeah.
Okay. So I can see the fully
Yep.
smooth one. It's like, maybe it's because it's slower.
Yep.
It's just there's so many more points that it looks like it's not stopping.
Right.
Okay, neat. Okay. Then this is on the special made app.
Right, so this is our custom app. Still more development to be done, but showing off what we have now, which is really a TCAS-like display. So as I mentioned, we had 3 pieces of traffic that the camera's seeing, and then that's showing up here. So we have an airplane further out, we have a bird to our bottom left, and then we have a drone to our top right. So we have that, which is a somewhat normal screen that you'd expect to see on a TCAS display, but then additionally we can show the actual image data. So whenever we click around on these pieces of traffic, because we're using a visual detection system, we can then show the pilot what the camera sees as well as an outline on that image of what traffic is detected to help the pilot visually identify that traffic.
Now, is the user able to enlarge the picture so we can see more if it's only looking at the picture, or is it going to have a magnification otherwise?
Yeah, great question. So we've been getting some questions like that. There's still more development to be done, but we definitely want to include some, abilities to be able to zoom in. As you can tell, as we get further out and as we get smaller detections, you just end up with a box without the ability to see much detail. And so we want to include the ability to zoom, most likely the ability to have a wider field of view to see it, if you're flying over the ocean and don't have much reference to the horizon, a wider image to then be able to zoom in on would really help you visually identify that. So still more progress to be made there.
And right now it looks like you've got about a 10-mile range.
Exactly.
Is that a limitation, or just, hey, we're just going to figure that's close enough?
Yeah, so we have this at a 10-mile setting. This demonstrator unit, we're calling it, can see about 8 miles. We're planning to get it to about 10, whether that is in the Q3 unit or a unit afterwards, but we're anywhere between 8 and 10 detection range for a 172 size object. Where that comes in is the ability for the camera to percept an image that far away. It starts to get smaller in the camera sensor, and so that's more of a limit that we're running into. I don't think we'll get too far past 10 miles, but at the same time, I'm not sure how many people care about an airplane 20 miles out. So from what we've heard so far, that 8-10 mile range is more than enough to be able to see and plan for objects coming in from that distance.
So do you put, it's like the diamond, okay, there's something out there, we can't see it quite yet, but be aware of it as it gets closer. Oh, that's what this is. It's a drone or whatever.
So the diamond comes from, if you're familiar with like a normal GPS navigator on the traffic page, usually they show a diamond. If it's further away, it's just the outline. If it's closer, it's filled in. If it gets closer, it turns yellow, red. So that's just the normal what pilots are used to seeing for an airplane or a helicopter. So that symbol is used for planes or helicopters, and then we also have the individual drone and bird images for those types of objects. So the color designates how much of a risk factor we've calculated, and then the symbol designates what kind of traffic we've seen.
Well, what I was getting at with the diamond is, or whatever, is you see something out there, but you just can't see it well enough to tell what it is.
Right.
So it's like, hey, question mark.
Could be yeah. We see something to be determined.
Yeah. Okay. And is any of this being recorded for review later, or all of it, or portions, or can I say, hey, let's record this portion?
Right, so for these units and for testing, we're recording all of this because we use this for our training refinement, right? So the more data that we can get and the more input that we can get from our flight testing to see when it doesn't work, when it does work, record and train based off of that, the better we can get. Additionally, as these future units come out, we will have a recording function. So in terms of the cost, this is a $1,000 unit that you buy, and then it's free to use from there. So the app, the detections are all free. We will be offering a subscription model, a paid subscription model, to unlock additional features such as recording. So that will be behind a subscription model, but then you can take those videos, put them out on YouTube, review them with your flight instructor. We see a few use cases there. So that'll be a piece of functionality, and it'll be with a subscription feature.
Great. An extra set of eyes. So, Grant, I always like to let the guests give the final words. Anything that we missed talking about, but you think you came to mind that, hey, we really need to reference this?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brian. So we're here. We're also doing pre-orders for that Q3 2025 unit, the production unit. So feel free to stop by the booth and check us out, or go to flywithsentinel.com. You can either pre-order it or just take a look at what we're doing. Feel free to put your email in our watch list, and we'll keep you posted on our progress updates. And looking forward to seeing you in the future, Brian.
Well, thank you very much. I'm always encouraged when I see someone, actually moving forward with a, from prototype to prototype and getting better each time. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Well, Grant, thank you very much for being with us. This is Brian Purdy with the Florida Aviation Network, live and in clear from Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo 2025 in the Innovation Showcase. Have a great day.